Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our platform, and thank you so much for joining today. So, guys, this video is for those who have been asking me, Milton, I want to apply for studies in Europe, but I still don't know where I can apply to. Okay, if you want to know where you can apply for January intake 2025, like if you want to apply and move by January, February latest, these are some countries you should check the schools inside. Like these are countries you should consider checking, like check universities in these countries. Also, before you even check the universities in these countries, I would like to say a few things. One, check the proof of funds that you need to actually apply for visas to these countries. That is the first thing. I will mention some here. The second thing is when you go to the school websites, make sure you check the requirements of the programs you are interested in. It is so important. Don't apply for a program that you are not qualified. Don't take a psychology program and you are applying with background in biology. It doesn't make sense. Now, another thing you should put into consideration is that when you are doing this application, understand that there is an application deadline, and some of these countries might require you to do legalization. If you have been following me for some time now, you should already know that if you are to apply to Portugal, Austria, Romania, Italy, then you need legalization at the beginning, in the middle of the process, or at the end of the process when you are about to apply for visa. So please, you should put all this into consideration before you go into this. All these countries I'm going to give to you now, you can apply for January. It's either the program is starting January next year, February next year, March, or April. Now, the reason why I'm talking about these applications is because right now, this is already the end of July. If you haven't gotten admissions, if you are not in the visa process now, you cannot apply for September intake or October. But those who are already doing their application now in Austria still have an advantage. Yes, if you are doing your application right now in Austria, you have an advantage because your programs will either start October, November. Yes, this is how Austrian applications are. Now, let's not waste time. Let's go into the video proper. If you want to study next year, January, February, apply to Denmark. Yes, Danish universities are open very soon. Not right now, but very soon. So what I'm trying to say is, at the end of this month, you should be applying to Denmark. Now, one thing I will advise you to do is apply to schools that are close to Copenhagen. Either you target two universities, University of Copenhagen or Technical University of Copenhagen, or you target schools that are closer to Copenhagen, like Southern Denmark University and University of Aarhus. Then, the reason is simple. Let me not go then. The reason is simple why I'm saying you should target schools in Copenhagen or closer to Copenhagen. Why is it so? Because Copenhagen has more job opportunities. If you are in Copenhagen, it will be easy for you to find jobs. Okay, you can even enter Denmark and maximum 2 weeks you are working. Don't ask me how did I know. I am a professional in this, so I know why I'm saying so. I'm just here to give you advice and share valuable information. I don't have any partnership with anybody. Also, remember, the universities in Denmark you should be looking at, if you just want to move to Denmark and study, then later on, before you work, then you can apply to these two universities, University of Southern Denmark as well, Aarhus University, University of Roskilde, University of Aalborg, and so many others. You can check them and see. Also, don't forget that for you as a Cameroonian, you have to go to Nigeria because you are going to be using VFS Global, right? So you have to plan everything. Remember, when you gain admissions, you have to pay tuition deposit complete, and it's around 5 million CFA francs before you can start visa application, because it is your school that will start your visa application for you. Put this into consideration. It's so important. Now, also understand that you can move to Denmark with your family, okay, if you have 1, 2, 3, but you need money. Also understand that Danish schools like Copenhagen and Technical University of Copenhagen are not cheap. They charge from at least 10,000 euros and you have to pay complete. So again, take a look at that. Most people will not apply. I know why I'm saying so. Some other people equally need IELTS. So put this into consideration. Now, also understand that a country like Netherlands, I have talked about Denmark. You can also apply in the Netherlands to study in September or February or January, February. By the way, let me put it this way. Now, another thing you should understand is that when you gain admissions to Netherlands, they are the ones to do your application. They're the school. You pay all the money to them. Then the school applies for your visa. Then you locate the nearest Dutch embassy and you collect your visa. I have been doing a lot of videos here and I expect you to already know what you need. Remember, you need a lot of money. Check the schools, check the programs, check the requirements before you launch your application. It's so important. Now, the next country you should focus on is Germany. If you have money for blocked account, apply to German universities. There are a lot of them in Germany. Most of them have 2 intakes. Universities like Deggendorf Institute of Technology, they have 2 intakes. The University of Mining and Technology in Freiberg, they have 2 intakes. Bonn University, 2 intakes. Technical University of Munich, 2 intakes. The University of Duisburg, 2 intakes. So remember, you need blocked account. So you should apply immediately because there is no time to waste. And remember, Germany has October intake and April intake. So if you are applying now, you cannot apply now because admissions is not yet open. For the Netherlands, it will be opening at the end of this month. Denmark, same. Germany, it's towards November, December. So you can check by that time. If you also want to move to the English-speaking country, the only English-speaking country in the European Union, okay, you can apply to Ireland. Ireland has October intake and February intake. There are a lot of schools in Ireland. The University of Dublin, Cork University of Technology, a lot of them. So just check which one has your program. Then you drop your application. I'm doing this video because many people have been saying, oh, Milton, I want to move January. I want to move February. I want to move early next year. I don't know where to go. This is the video you need. But remember, Irish schools are not cheap. I am saying these things because I want you to be prepared before you start the application. If you check, you are going to see this. Most schools in Ireland charge at least 10,000 euros or more for 1-year programs. And remember, the visa rate for Ireland is around 70%. For the Netherlands, is like 90%. For Denmark, is like 80 to 85%. So these countries with high visa rates, they also have strict measures for visa application. Proof of funds to study in Ireland is 10,000 euros. And remember, for you to apply for a visa to Ireland, you also need to show how you got the money into that account. Okay, you can use a sponsor, you can sponsor yourself. Also understand that to move to Ireland, you cannot move with your family. Okay, you can only move to Denmark. Then for the Netherlands and Germany, they can come later, and Ireland. But understand that Ireland is a big country. You can easily work, you can easily get PR, and of course citizenship. So consider Ireland. Check schools in Ireland. And some schools also ask for IELTS. This is something you need to put into consideration. Now, you should also check schools in Poland. Remember, I said at the beginning of the video that depending on the country in which you want to go to, you should check if you are going to have appointments. Most people from Central and West Africa, they have issues booking appointment at the Polish embassy. So if you think you are coming from South Africa or those areas around South Africa, please check if you can get the Polish embassy's appointment in Pretoria or Johannesburg easily. Then, if yes, you apply. Why not? There are still schools in Portugal, not in Portugal by the way, but in Poland, that are still accepting applications for September intake this year. But if you think you are late, then you consider next year, January, February, March intake. Then another country I want to talk about is Spain. You can either study in Spain in October or you can study in Spain in February. Now, understand that most Spanish universities do not teach in English, but a few teach in English. Others do not teach, let me say, programs that are cheap. Like if you want to apply to Spain, some programs are not cheap. You also need to check that. This is common with private universities, especially business schools in Spain. Also understand that depending on the country in which you are or where you come from, appointments may be pretty difficult. So you have to check the embassy's website to see if you can apply. There are two lists, some people for list A, some people for list B. Okay, and the Spanish embassy is the person who can decide. For Cameroonians watching me, the Spanish embassy is in Yaoundé. So you should consider Spain. Now, also understand that all these countries I mentioned, all of them are in the European Union and some are in the Schengen. So if you get a tourist visa to enter these countries, if you don't want to go to school, you also have the policy, like the tendency, you can also enter all these countries I mentioned with a single tourist visa. But remember, a tourist visa does not give you a right to work abroad except you change it to asylum status. I have explained this many times on this channel, so please check it and consider. You also need to know that Latvia has 2 intakes. But remember, for you to apply to Latvia, it's easy to get admissions. Yes, it's easy. Lithuania also has 2 intakes. It's very easy to get admissions if you have the money. But remember, they might be asking you 3,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,000, 4,000 euros per semester or per year. It depends too on the university. So check Latvia and Lithuania, okay, and then you apply for them. Remember, for Latvia you have to go to Egypt to apply for the visa. For Lithuania you have to go to South Africa or United Arab Emirates, depending on the country in which you are from. Again, remember requirements and consider proof of funds. You have to apply. You need a sponsor. If you need a sponsor, start building your bank account steadily. Remember, there are some countries here you cannot use bank account. You have to do blocked account. I mentioned that already. And some, you have to pay all the money to the school's account for them to give you pass to apply for a visa. So put all of this into consideration before you kickstart your process. I am just a messenger sending out valuable information. I will be bringing some updates for Canada very soon. So stay tuned and keep watching till we meet again in another one. Bye bye.